Hi, everyone. Thank you again for joining this week's Reline Live. Once again, I'm welcomed by Ryan with ContechES Solutions. Hi, Ryan.
Hello.
So we are going to be actually showing you, and by we, I mean Ryan's going to be showing you the Design Your Own Reline tool that ContechES has released very recently, right, Ryan? Like last year?
Yeah, it's I don't even probably a year or so ago. Yep.
Yeah, and I know you guys are working on continuing to improve it. So everyone's feedback on this call is helpful. If you have questions, this is my housekeeping. We keep everyone on mute, but if you guys do have questions, please put them into the questions box. This is really kind of good for us to be able to real-time answer anything that you guys are when Ryan's going through this that pops into your head. Even if we have to save them till the end, we will get to all the questions. So on that note, Ryan, I am going to hand over the sharing rights to you.
All right. Let me know when you got me.
I have you.
All right, perfect. So thank you everybody, and Cassie especially for having me back on. We always enjoy this type of thing and make sure it brings value to everybody who's on the other end. So the thing I'll say first and foremost is what I'll show you today is web-based. If there were any drawback, it would be that you have to have an account on our website. So basically an email and a password so you can get on and use it. But that's not that difficult. So it is relatively new, as Cassie mentioned. So it'll continue to get better, and we'll add more to it as we continue to build it out. So right now we focus on round and pipe arch, but as we continue to add more to it, we'll be able to look at box culverts or other types of structures as well. So just wanted to make sure that everybody's aware of that. And then the other thing I will say, and Cassie and I, we covered this last night, this covers ContechES array of products. So it doesn't cover anything else. You go to our website, we're going to talk about our products. So hopefully that's understandable, and we'll roll forward.
And Ryan, that actually, I forgot to ask you this yesterday when we chatted. So if you were to put in all the information that you're going to show us, and there wasn't a ContechES product that fits, will it say that Reline isn't an option, or will it just say that you guys don't have any products that fit that particular job?
It'll recommend that you reach out to a local ContechES engineer and sales engineer. And
I didn't think to ask you that yesterday.
Yeah, that's a great question. If it comes back with nothing but questions, what do we do there? That'll be an extreme rarity. I've only been able to break it a couple times, and even since then, that's been fixed. So you likely won't see that, but if it does, that'll be the recommendation. And I want to say that this is a great tool to start your project with. So the information that you put in would be probably very you'll have at the beginning of your project. This will help you narrow down which ContechES products are going to work in a specific application. So
Ryan, do you think it would be good to maybe poll the group real quick and see if anyone's used this tool already?
Yeah, that would be good.
Because then maybe if there are people who have already used it, they can put in the chat box or the question box like what they found really helpful, or what they
or a way to improve it.
Yeah, or hey, I didn't know how to do this, and we can start addressing some of those. So I'll throw this poll up real quick.
Okay.
If anyone can let us know. Wow, all of you voted very quickly. It was like 10 seconds in, and we had 60% people voted. We got them engaged early. Get it? I like that.
That's good. Good.
All right, so give it a couple more seconds. All right, we'll close the poll. So look at 80% of you have not used this tool, but 20% of you have. So that's a really good That's really good information for us. So the 20% of you that have, let us know if there's something you love about it or you couldn't figure out while we're going through this.
Exactly. So basically, I said this is a web-based application. So you would start at our website, which is, this is what you're looking at on your screen now. That's our landing page. And the best thing for you to do is just go to start a project, and then that'll take you to the DYO suite. So we're talking today about Design Your Own Reline, but we have a lot of other Design Your Own suites that are available for storm sewers and that type of thing. So you'll pick which one, and then you'll come to your landing page once you have an account and everything, and this is what it's going to look like. So this is my landing page, and you'll have any projects that you have had in the past. So this is a project that I was looking up in Alberta. We'll create a new project though today. At the point you get some search items here. Let's say you had 30 or 40 projects in your database that you were looking at. That could get somewhat difficult to find which one you're trying to look for. So you can actually, there's a search option here for you to look at. But we'll add to the project list, and we'll go in, and basically it's just going to start asking you certain questions, right? So let's just do, we'll name this one TV pipe rules. So everybody here can agree with that. If you have an internal project number that you'd like to associate this project with, we'll do that. We can do a location. What do you think, Cassie? Boise?
Yeah, let's do Boise.
Okay, and let's go to Idaho. And what's a good zip code without
83705?
What is it? 83705?
Yep.
Okay. Right. If you happen to know the latitude and longitude, or you're in the field using an iPad or something, and you can use my location, and that'll type in the latitude and longitude. You don't need it though. So once you get past the state and the zip code, all this stuff is just really for your information more than anything else, if you have it. You can even add a picture if you wanted to. So for example, I'm going to use, this is a recent project we did in Iowa. I'll just attach that picture, and that way it'll give you an idea of what it looks like. And then if you have specific project notes, if there's a highway or there are other, let's say, people that are interested in it, you can put in it what other information you wanted to. So you go hit submit there, and that's just the start of the information. So now we've got a project named TV Pipe Rules, Treasure Valley Pipe Rules, and then you're going to go to either New Reline Analysis or click here. It takes you to the same spot, and that's where you're going to start entering any specific information that you've got. So let's say you've got a culvert number that you wanted to put, or I don't know, Cassie, do you have anything specifically we should try to input here, like a culvert or a sanitary sewer or something like that we could just throw some numbers in?
So on the system description, this isn't like a description of a location. Like I wouldn't say,
correct.
Like I wouldn't say Moore's Canal, let's say. I want to actually put what I'm looking at.
Yeah, so a lot of times we do a lot of these for county and DOT type of applications, and a project name might be State Highway 35, right?
Right.
But the system description might be the name of the crossing or the station of the crossing, however you differentiate it, you, the user, differentiate it. So this is going to be a specific crossing that you would do, so you can recall, oh, okay, this is what we're analyzing. So it could just be pipe one. It could be something simple like that. It could be a station. It could be anything.
Okay.
So right now, most of our reline efforts are in the culvert application, but we also get involved in storm sewer and sanitary sewer to a great deal as well. Do you have a preference which one we approach here?
start with the culvert.
Okay, perfect. So we'll go with the culvert. The next box will have existing parameters, and here we're trying to figure out really what the existing pipe is that we're trying to reline. One of the one of the toughest questions that you're going to answer are there alignment or grade issues? So your values that you can select here are yes, no, or maybe. And what this is asking is basically how barrel straight is that pipe that we're trying to reline. So let's say it's a concrete pipe, for example, and there's some misaligned joints, or maybe it's a flexible pipe and there's some deflections. Are there any of those in this case? If you hit yes, a little pop-up will occur, happen. Do you see that there?
Yeah.
Okay. So
it's very little print, but I see it.
Yeah, the box was only so large, so we had to fit all this in.
Yeah.
Effectively, what it's saying is, look, we can continue with the analysis here, but the odds are good that we need to get more information to make sure that the size that we come up with is actually going to fit through the pipe, right? If we get something really tight and there are alignment or grade issues, chances are, let's say we're trying to reline a 60-inch culvert with 58-inch corrugated metal pipe, aluminized corrugated metal pipe. If it's straight, we might be able to do that. But if there's a lot of deflections or if there are misaligned joints, that probably isn't going to work. And that's what this is telling you. Basically, it's telling you, hey, let's move ahead, but we really need to get somebody involved earlier from a Contech perspective and get more information on the condition of the pipe. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally
Okay.
makes sense.
So right now, existing shape, we have pipe or pipe arch. So round or pipe arch. As we continue to build this out, we'll add box culverts, that type of thing. But right now, this is what we have. So let's just assume it's round and existing pipe material. Cassie, what do you want to do here? We've got metal, plastic, concrete, or brick.
I mean, metal is what we see the majority of around here in the Northwest. But I know, you know, when I was selling a lot into Indiana, I ran into clay pipe. So,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, exactly. So this is just picking out whatever hose pipe material you have. We reline a lot of metal that's been in the ground for 40+ years and has reached its design life, right? So instead of digging it up, let's reline it. And if we reline it, let's reline it with something that's going to last. So this next question is metal allowable, and that can be kind of confusing. And the reason for that is we mentioned up here that we have culvert, sanitary sewer, or storm sewer. Obviously, if we're relining a sanitary sewer, we do not recommend metal in that application. So you would put no. Some instances, there are some counties or what have you that would say they have a negative connotation on metal. If you remember, what was it, 3 weeks ago, Cassie, when we talked about the durability, that's an old perception, and we have that design life to get you to the 75 to 100 years. So we need to reset that, but you do have the capability to say yes or no. And then comes the big question. I hit it too fast. What's the existing pipe diameter? So what we're looking for here is probably the smallest diameter that you have that you know about. So if you've done a visual inspection, for example, or if it's a big storm sewer, a sanitary sewer, if you have CCTV or laser profiling, and you know what the minimum ID is of the existing pipe, that's where you're going to put it here. So right now, 48-inch, especially in DOTs and counties, that seems to be a pretty common size. So unless you think otherwise, I'll put 48-inch in here.
Yeah, that's a very common size.
Okay. Hydraulic control. if you remember from my discussion 3 or 4 weeks ago, we went a little bit into inlet versus outlet. And really what this is going to do is determine, do we need a smooth pipe, or does corrugated pipe, is that okay? Most people are going to be unsure. You can go back to our discussion and figure out ways to determine if it's inlet or outlet controlled. I'll leave that for another discussion or a question if somebody has it. But right now we'll go to unsure. Next, we're going to go to system criteria. So this is going to be all the things that are existing on site and what you need to have for this reline pipe. The first thing that we ask is, what's your max abrasion level? And if you're like me on the call, you might be thinking, what the heck does that mean? And that's why we have this little question mark there. Hit that question mark, and this takes you just to a little chart that the FHWA put together that will tell you, here's what your abrasion level will be. And basically what that means is it looks at what type of bed load you have and what your velocities are. So if you have a high velocity and no bed load, then your abrasion level is going to be low. But in culvert applications, the higher the velocity, the higher chances you are going to have more abrasive materials in that flow. So let's say, for example, well, we're between 5 feet per second and 15 feet per second. So that would be an abrasion level 3. And we'll go there. So this is going to act, Cassie, as kind of a determiner of which products the system comes up with to tell you. If we came up with abrasion level 4 or 2, it might offer different products that Contech manufactures.
Change it and mess around after we get through and show how it shifts products.
Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah.
If you know the pH minimum and maximum of the soil or the water, in most cases it's going to be the water. You would put that in here. We could put in, let's just put in pH of 9, and that'll be 9. We'll do pH 7 to 9. How about that? And resistivity. Resistivity is important, especially for aluminized steel, but really for any corrugated metal. And what that is the resistance to electron flow. So that's gonna, the higher the resistivity, the better off you're gonna be. In most cases, there are some points in Utah where this is gonna be low. But most other places it's going to be higher than 1500 ohm centimeters. But we can go through and try to break that later as we show you how it changes things around. Live loading, we'll just do H25. We have highway loads or railway loads, and then your minimum height to cover and your maximum height to cover. So let's say we have a minimum of 1 foot and a maximum of 8 feet. And then your service life goal, 50, 75 to 100. Let's just split the difference and go 75. And we can just say it's 140 feet long. You want to change anything, or are you good with that?
I'm good with that.
Sweet. So let's hit calculate. And it's going to come up with a maximum of 3 options for us to consider. And in this case, it came up with A2 liner, which is a PVC pipe for us in 36 inches in diameter. It came up with polymer coated. So don't let this picture fool you. Polymer coated, if you remember, it has a black film over the steel, or polymer coated 2 2/3. So basically this one, the last 2 are the same. This is telling us here's what we recommend out of these 2 products. So polymer coated or A2 liner pipe for these. It's going to give you the diameters that it has here, and it's also going to give you a good point of contact for Contech. So in this case, it's Andy Clark. He's up there in Boise, and he would likely immediately get TV Pipe and Cassie involved in something like this. The cool thing that you're going to see here, you have the ability to get to a specification sheet. Let's look at A2 liner pipe. and it's going to give you just simple detail and then standard specifications for this pipe that you can use. Standard details that you might want to insert into plans or give you a better idea of what you have, and then a case study. And this is the most important one in my mind because it kind of gives you an idea of where else it's been used. Now, this logic is built to get smarter and smarter as it goes along. So right now we're showing that case history in Maryland, but as we get more and more involved, more time and people using this, it'll come up with a case history that's going to be closer to your in this case to Boise, because that's where we put the project information. So it kind of gives you an idea of where it's been used before and any specification questions that you might ask. These will be emailed to you once you hit send. You can also email it to, say, a client or somebody else in your office or what have you, and then you'll get all this information sent to you. I'll take a breath now and just see if Cassie, I can go into any more detail, or if you want me to do something different.
No, I was just going to point out the specification sheet is probably, to me, along with the case studies, is probably also one of the most important things, because the first thing that you're going to get, even a contractor or an engineer, is they want the design information, right? They
Sure.
need the product, whether it's a design guide, but they always call it a submittal, right? I need submittals, yeah. And that's where that information comes in handy.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, it's all useful. Yeah, don't get me wrong, but I agree with you wholeheartedly. In this case, we've got two options that it came up with: either polymer coated corrugated metal pipe or A2 liner pipe. But we can edit the analysis, and we can come up with something else if you'd like, and see what else how we can change the results, if you will. So let's just move this down to 2, and we'll say our max pH is 8. So pretty what's the word, neutral ranging pH. We'll leave the resistivity and just see what happens to the options. So now we've got some ultraflow options, either aluminized type 2, polymer coated, or straight up Hellcore. So the maximum that options that you're going to get are 3. That's not to say that, say, A2 liner still wouldn't be a good option in this use, or we haven't even seen Duramax pop up. So that's not to say those aren't good ideas. These are probably going to be the most cost effective and have the higher chance of meeting everything that you need at a more cost effective rate. So that's why these pop up. But again, it's also why I state, hey, this is something that you should start with, not necessarily end your design with. This should be the beginning of a conversation with Contech and TV pipe, so we can edit and verify what this comes up with. Hopefully that makes sense.
So we have a question that came in, Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. When would you enter the soil side pH and resistivity? Would that be from observation from similar culverts in the area, and whether they are corroding from inside the pipe or from outside?
Great question. I think they answered their own question. If you have an idea of what the soil side is, and if it's worse than water side, then yeah, this doesn't give you a soil side and water side option. So if you have pH of water versus pH of soil, and one is worse than the other, for example, I would start with the worst case scenario. Generally, the water is going to closely match what the soil has, only because it's running off in the same soil. So it should be close. And the other instance I would say is definitely use water is if you're bringing in, let's say this is a direct bury application, if you're bringing in soil to backfill around the pipe. And that just made me think of the actual better answer is, since we are backfilling with a grout, soil will never come into contact with this, so you should only use your water. So I had a little bit of brain fart there, everybody. Sorry about that. Your water pH should be the answer for that.
Okay, let us know if you have any further questions on that.
So while you were asking that, I went in and just changed it to sanitary sewer, changed design life to 100-year, and I left is metal allowable there. And I said yes, but because we have it as a sanitary sewer system, if I hit calculate, it won't give you a metal option for the reasons I stated before. It will give you A2 liner pipe, and it will give you Duramax, which we spoke about yesterday.
Okay.
So, you know, it is a great tool to start with. I think it's fun to try to get it to break. So if you have specific things you want me to go through, I'm happy to do that. Specific examples. Most people don't know the pH of the water or the resistivity of the water, so you can make best guesses of what you've seen before. It doesn't have to be exact, simply because we're starting the project.
Right. Should we do one real quick with stormwater?
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe
You mean storm
another common size we see a lot here is 24-inch.
Okay. Let's go down to 24-inch, and you can see here we're not basing it off only nominal diameters, although they're in there too. If you have deflections or joint misalignments, you can put in what the actual max space is. What would your existing be? You want to leave it as metal or put concrete?
Let's put concrete.
Okay. Metal is allowable. You want to change any of this information?
Ryan, have you ever seen metal go inside a concrete?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, we do a lot of metal inside of concrete. Again, it's aluminized or polymeric coated, and it goes in. I think a case history I showed 3 weeks ago or so was from Wisconsin, but we do. I won't say it's the majority, but it is. We do a lot of metal inside concrete.
Huh? I've never seen that done. Okay.
Yep. Yep. Do you want to change any of this info? We can go to E80 loading. Storm sewers always go under railways. Anything else, or are you good?
That's good for me. I just wanted to see what some of the different things it would come up with.
Okay, so here it's recommending ultraflow because it's a storm sewer pipe, and we're wanting to Manning's End. Smooth pipe matters in this case, right? In culvert, smooth pipe doesn't always matter, but in storm sewer, sanitary sewer, it always does, and that's why you're seeing ultraflow here. It's coming up with 18-inch or A2 liner pipe. Again, we do a lot of A2 liner is also a direct bury pipe, so we reline, and it's really meant for sanitary sewer, but we do a lot of storm sewer with it. So you see either aluminized here or polymer coated. Again, the pictures look the same. That'll be something that'll get changed, so you can tell that the polymer coated looks more like polymer coated. Okay. The gauge is based on the live loads and the heights of cover that we had. So that's how that's determined. And yeah, you got these 3 options. And the one thing I'll note, hopefully a lot of the people were on 3 weeks ago. I keep alluding to it, so I hope I'm not confusing anybody. But the recommendation of 18 inches comes up. All the recommendations are going to be based on other nominal diameters. So keep in mind that one of the great things about relining with a aluminized or polymeric corrugated metal pipe is that we're not limited to those nominal diameters. So let's say our max inside diameter or minimum inside diameter is 24 inches, we could probably make a 22-inch pipe and stick that in there. So it gives you a bigger cross-sectional area, which will help you hydraulically at all times. So we could go to the nearest inch for corrugated metal pipe. So keep that in mind. This won't give that option to you yet. Hopefully we'll get there someday. But again, that'll be a good reason to bring in Cassie and Andy once you get this information.
Yeah, we did have one question that came in. I think this one's going to be a tough one to answer, but we'll try. What will be the lining type for 54-inch concrete pipe with slight deflection and in running water conditions?
Okay.
So do you want to answer that, or do you want me to?
Let's run it through. Run through everything we know. Concrete pipe, we'll say there are alignment issues. 54-inch, was that correct?
Yep.
Didn't sound like we're sure here. You said running water, but let's go worst case scenario, or not worst case scenario. Let's just go with 3. Did they say this was a storm sewer?
They did not.
Okay. Storm sewer, culverts, you might see this. Storm sewers, probably not, just because there isn't as much gunk, especially if you use some of our stormwater treatment units. This stuff I'm going to leave the same until we get direction otherwise, and I'll leave it with 100-year design life, and let's see what comes up. So it's going to come up with ultraflow, 42-inch. I think that's too small, so this again would be another reason for us to get involved. We'll likely recommend a larger diameter, 14 gauge, and that's what it's coming up with. So
Yep.
There should be some other ones. Duramax should have popped up. I'm not positive why it didn't, but I'll have to go back and look into that. Or just
keep in mind, just reminder what we said in the beginning. This is also giving you the Contech products that will fit your project, but we still would want to get a Contech rep involved, whether
Exactly.
it's with us or anyone else, to look at, pictures, look at camera, or even go out in the field and inspect it. I mean,
yeah. So what I did while you were talking about that, and that's exactly right. I went and changed the abrasion level down to level 2, and it came up with various forms of ultraflow.
okay.
Let's have a little bit of fun and move up to 4, see what happens. There you go. No solutions available. Go back and revise or request sales engineer contact. So we're able to break it. And the reason why it did that is because you have water going greater than 15 feet per second, which means there's probably cobbles and everything else in there that we want to know of, because there may be some things we can do with heavier gauges or different product materials. And then now it comes up with 16 gauge. If you remember when we first looked at it, it was 14 gauge, and that was for the higher abrasion level. So it's a great starting point, and please feel free to go use it. I know we're probably a little bit over our time, Cassie, but I'm happy to stay and answer any questions that you have. And of course, if you go through it and you would like some help or something, make sure you give one of us a call. We're happy to help out. Looks like Cassie might have froze.
I'm back.
There you are.
I don't. I'm guessing my husband decided to get on a conference call or something the same time as me.
Yeah. No kidding. No kidding.
I don't know. Right at 12, that happened, like on the dot. I was like, what's going on? I don't know where I lost you, but did you hear my question on the 22-inch going inside the 24-inch?
No, I didn't hear that at all. I kept talking about the 54-inch.
Okay.
So.
Okay. No, we had a question about how would you grout? Because when you showed the 24-inch that I had brought up in Idaho, it came up with a 22-inch metal liner. But where would you put, like, how would you grout that if it's that tight of a fit?
Good question. So type of grout is a big concern. Keep in mind, I was just throwing numbers out there just to provide an example, but that would be enough space. Type of grout, and then in this case, a lot of people like to use tubes, like grout tubes that are from the bulkhead, from the inlet or the outlet end. They likely wouldn't fit in this case, so we would need grout ports, and so those would be pre-installed at our plant. Where you can inject and review the grout as it's being installed, so you know what height it's at and everything else. So good question.
Okay. Yeah, we've gone a little over noon, but we did have a question about the abrasion levels. Could you briefly give us what those entail?
Sure. So let me get back to that, and let me get back to the input stage, and I can use that as a tool. So the abrasion level basically consists of how fast the water is going and what I call bed load, or think of sand, rock, cobble, cats, whatever you want is going to be in this flow. So some of that, if you get fast water with a lot of bed load, that's going to wear against whatever type of product you have in there over time, right? So if we go to this question mark, you click on that, and this will help define it a little bit better. So the FHWA has 4 abrasion levels. You see that in the left-hand column, and it's based on flow velocity. So really what you want to do is have a good idea of what your flow velocity is. Most culverts are either going to be at level, so they'll be minimal. They'll be at abrasion level 1 or 2, or you have these culverts that are like on a 2-to-1 slope, and you're going to have some water ripping through it. So if you have a lot higher velocity and there's bed load in the stream and it's movable, that'll go through any pipe and be able to wear against it negatively. So because of that, if we pick abrasion level 4, we're going to have a higher gauge or a different product, so it protects itself against that abrasion. If you have an abrasion level 1, you don't need that thicker steel, because it's nothing is wearing against it. So does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. I was worried I lost you again.
Nope.
So that's why we add that in there, and that's not a Contech thing. That's an FHWA thing, and it high abrasion affects any product that you have, and that's why we put it in.
Right. Well, that is all the questions that we've had come in. We'll stay on another minute. If you guys have anything else, Ryan and I, oh, I can't talk. Ryan and I are here standing by. I don't see anything else coming in.
Okay. Well,
Ryan, I think this was great. I think this is a really interesting tool.
It's good. It'll get better over time, and what you have, please feel free to let us know. We're proud of it, but not too proud to take recommendations. So please let us know what we can do to make it more useful for you.
Okay. One question did just come in. What is the smallest pipe where a grout port will work?
We have to be able to put it in at the plant. I don't know the answer to that question off the top of my head. So, but I can get that. If Cassie, you know who asked it, I can get you that and let you know.
I do.
I think the challenge, you have to be able to put it at the plant, but then you also have to be able to access it in the field, because you're hooking up your grout tube to it. So
that's where I think the question stemmed from.
So it really depends upon the girth of the person who will be hooking up the hose, the grout tube. So obviously 12-inch, we could probably install it at the plant, but it wouldn't do you any good in the field. So I would say probably 30, 36 inch would be the smallest you'd want to go, just to make so people can access through it.
Yep. Okay. That's, I think, all we've got. All right. Well, thank you, Ryan. I'm sure I'll have
All
you
right.
back on another Reline Live again soon because I keep picking your brain for all kinds of stuff.
I'm looking forward to it. Thank you for the time, everybody.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Have a good afternoon.
See ya.
Bye.